morning that I've gotten up and like gone to work, I have wanted to like listen to morning tea on my way to work, because I'm just like, what's going on, you know? What's happening? What is CLC and everybody else in Prague got to say about what's going on, you know? I want the tea. Ah, I need morning tea.
I don't know where we found this, but this is so good. Good morning, everybody. I'm not sure if she sent this. I haven't checked her broad chat this morning. Oh, is that where this is from? Oh, she very much sent this like literally 20 minutes ago to her broad chat. I love that. Alrighty, everyone. Yeah, that intro will be staying for the rest of eternity. We're here with all the tea. I told myself that I'm going to try and be nice to the best of my abilities, but these people are pissing me off, and that's okay. But I'll try and be nice. I'm joined by two lovely production members. Josh is also here in the background, but he's, I think, watching kids study, so I guess go study. Good for them. Bringing in, they've both been here before. Kadri's first. I love the balloons. I love the balloons.
I guess
all right.
My signature.
It is. Well, she's up again. I cannot believe 2 Pacific people are up at 7:43 a.m., but these people made us do it. It's Tay.
Guess he doesn't sleep anymore.
Not us.
All we do is BBH.
Because I remember I watched Survivor and we VPN, so we watched it at 5 our time, and it gets done at 6:30, and next thing I know, it's 11 o'clock Pacific, and I'm like, where the fuck did that go? And then I'm like, that's right, it's because this house was burning from the fucking inside, and I couldn't leave my laptop because I was so enthralled by every call, every stupid mess these people made.
I really wanted to come on to say, like, because I feel like yesterday was a sadder tea, but last night was one of the funniest nights I've ever had hosting BBH, I think, ever. I was cracking up. I had my computer. I was like, everything was going, just looking at everything, laughing. The cast, you guys were really fucking funny. The commentary, so like, stitch in my side.
I was so living for prod, running to the prod chat, each having like their own conversation because so much was going on.
So much.
Yeah.
And trying to like figure out what is happening over here, but like this is also like
y'all were having a serious conversation and I go in there, alert, Michael's calling Preston.
There's just so much going on. Like there were like 4 or 5 calls happening all at the same time, and it just was so much. And it was great. Oh my god, it was like, as much as I hate it from a just like a what the fuck are y'all doing? Team TV won last night. We all won, and their feelings might not win if they watch this tea back. But we'll warn them. I'll write it on my list of things to warn them about.
Well, I'm here to say y'all are funny as fuck. So the gameplay, you know what? That doesn't exist.
Whatever. I'm entertained. So whatever.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into the co-HOHs, some fun things to talk about before we get into them winning was just a few storylines that was happening, because we didn't get results until like 6:30 Eastern, so they were pretty bored throughout the day. Megs has finally put 2 and 2 together. I forget who told her. It might have been Louise. I think Louise hopped on call with her and was like, I'm shocked you didn't save Victoria. And Megs is like, why would I have saved Victoria? And Louise is like, oh, everyone just thought that Victoria was like you were Victoria's number 1. Like y'all were like this. And Megs is like, no. But Megs has finally put it together that this last HOH, while she was not nominated and Liv definitely discussed nominating her, was definitely a shot at her. So Megs has finally put 2 and 2 together, like, oh, you put up Victoria because you wanted her out because you thought she was with me. Oh, got it. So Megs has finally realized the full intentionality from the last HOH because Megs liked Victoria, she's fine, but like never saw Victoria that way. So no one had approached her about it because everyone's like, oh, we can't let Megs know. We know that her and Victoria are close. Now that Victoria's gone, they're willing to talk about it with her. And she's like, no, but okay, go off, I guess. So she's finally learned the truth there.
Let Megs know that Nikki was also a hit at her. Like both noms were a hit at Megs, but they weren't because she's not close to either of them.
No. The other thing, and it's a big storyline right now, considering she's on the block. I think Liv is now the new recipient of the Victoria treatment, which is what I am deeming everyone overestimating what you're doing in this game and thinking you're in a way better position than you actually are. Liv is not in a great position in this game at all. She's near the bottom. She's not dead last in my rankings, but she's not doing super great. And that just comes from, her being on the block early. People were willing to get rid of her. Her HOH didn't go well. So, like, all those things. She's not in a great spot, but everyone seemingly thinks so. Everyone thinks she's in all these alliances. Everyone is blaming her for Victoria leaving. Everyone's like, once she said she wasn't going to target Nikki, and next thing you know, the house flips. So everyone's saying that she has all this fucking power and influence. I'm like,
which I never understand why more people don't come together to say, hey, why don't we not give the HOH what they want?
Also that, like, they have no power.
Like,
none.
Literally, like, you're gonna mess it up. I'm trying not to cuss today. I'm trying to be a better person, Tay.
Wow. Everyone, you all changed Kadri last night.
Who are we?
Yeah, I took my mouth gauze out for this shit, okay? Yeah, like, she already messed it up. Like, why give her, like, why not just say, you know what, like, you don't want this to happen? Girl, fuck you, Mitchell. Fuck, damn it. Ah. That lasted anyway.
Yeah, that lasted no time.
Like, yo, Liv, I'm not going to give you what you want. Yeah, Nikki has to go, and Nikki is going to make them pay for it. But anywho,
yeah. It's a little poetic in the sense of that Liv was not like, she wasn't the only person pushing Victoria as this like narrative of that she's in a way better spot. So, but it's a little poetic in the sense that Liv nominates Victoria, thinking Victoria has a chance of staying initially against Nikki and possibly even against Megs in her mind, thinking that Victoria is like way up higher in the ranking. And now she's finding the same fate right now in the next round. It's a little poetic. It's unfortunate, but it's poetic.
And you know who's really the most worried about all the groups is Caro. She's like, I bet they're in 5 groups. I bet they're in these groups. I bet this. I'm like, okay, new rule. If someone is that worried about the groups, they're probably the ones in all the groups.
And I'm literally just waiting for someone to just do the damn math. Just like, and honestly, it's not even complicated math. It's really not. Just do 2 + 2 and you will get your answer.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the problem. Everyone likes Caro. They were talking about it last night, that everyone likes Caro. She's the it girl. No one's going to nominate her. It's because everyone feels close to her. So we'll see when they eventually decide to compare the notes and realize the girl who's so paranoid about all the alliances is the one making them all. But we'll see. The last thing I'm going to talk about before we get into this train wreck of an HOH is I was quite shocked. And again, maybe it's just the candidness of this cast. A lot of people were discussing what they would have done as HOHs, and most of these people had already competed and flopped. And I'm sitting there being like, I'd shut my damn mouth after your calm performance. Like, I wouldn't be saying a fucking thing. I'd be like, oh, what would I do as HOH? Babes, I'm not winning. So don't even worry about it. But instead, some of these people are like, oh, yeah, with my time of with 1 minute left of the 30 minutes, oh, yeah, I'd nominate these people. I'd shut your damn mouth if I were you. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? And half of these people.
Okay. Like, some people, like Trey and Lamont. Like they were like,
people really thought they had a chance.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, we've never done the challenge before, so they have no reason to think a time is good and or bad. But I don't know, if I'm told you get 30 minutes and I tell you you scored 28 minutes,
That
in my head, my first inkling isn't that's a good score. I would think, wow, good on us for finishing.
The only people that I think could have spoken about like what they could have done was Jabbar Luis, Erica.
Yep.
Like, that is literally it. And obviously Christian Preston, because they just killed everyone. But like,
yeah,
if you're that close to the being timed out, please shut the hell up.
Like Megan's over here being like, yeah, I put a Preston, maybe Lamont. Megan, shut up. Stop talking. And then there were other people during the HOH round telling Christian, oh yeah, I'd put up Preston. I'd shut up if I were you. Because if he goes and tells Preston, babes, what are y'all doing?
No,
people were wild in last night. Literally. Also that. Like, that's also
be not coy about it. Like, it's part of the rules.
Well, I get that, but like when they were asking, do you feel good? He wouldn't even say if he felt good or not. So like when people look at the results, they're like, babes, you fucking knew that y'all fucking killed it. And the fact that you were being coy, like, no one trusts him and he's playing this so poorly. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
And the thing is, like, and we'll get to it, like, he doesn't need to go as far as he's going.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a line at which is acceptable and like you're still okay kind of thing. But Christian keeps on going past it consistently. And I'm just like bitch, what is the reason? Look, I done cussed you. Damn it.
Like, find your people who you're willing to be truthful with and you feel like it won't get out. Sure, lie and be coy to the people that you don't trust. But when you're lying and being coy to the entire house, everyone's thinking, so I'm just not in Christian's inner circle because he's telling 3 or 4 people the truth and I'm not one of those people. When no one is getting the truth, not even Christian and Rizzo or Michael and Rizzo, who he just got into an alliance with, got the truth until last minute. Like, no one got the truth. Like, Christian has shown that every bridge is willing to be burned to the ground, and he has put himself, like, he is 2 for 2 in shit HOHs, and he didn't have the best HOHs in 13 either. I hate to say it, but I'm starting to really question Christian's ability to play Big Brother. Love him to death, but I'm starting to really question if he can play Big Brother, because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're making no one feel good about your reign, and that's step number 1 to being an HOH. Even in this round, you nominate one person, Christian, in a cast of 15. You nominate one person right now. And you have made no one in this cast feel good. No one feels good about this reign. No one wants to protect you moving forward. This is your chance to build your shitty position and have people protect you moving forward, and you've gotten nothing out of this. Nothing. Sorry, I got ahead.
He doesn't think he's in a shitty position.
Well, and that's the thing. He started to really come around at the end of last round when Victoria and I can't even remember who else was telling him, hey, you're not in that good of a position. He was like running to his DR. It's like, okay, wait, maybe I'm not. And then to get power and then completely forget. Like, this could have been the perfect HOH for Christian to smooth over some of these relationships, really start to solidify some, not alliances, but like, hey, we can work together. We can at least be on the same page with some things or whatever. And he did not do it. Let's move on because we're getting ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a note of what something you want to say.
To be nice, yes. Socially, he's been really good on calls. The problem is just comparatively, he's not been as great as this cast, because this cast is a bunch of fucking great social players. And that's kind of the issue, is like if he was in a cast of just a normal org, he'd be killing it socially. He's doing well, but when everyone's doing well, someone has to be comparatively in the bottom half, and he's definitely in the bottom half. But like he's doing well socially, so I get why he thinks that he's maybe not in as bad of a position as he actually is in. But so I'll be nice. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we have our HOHs, Christian and Preston. Initially, Christian is leaning either Liv or Caro, even though he's going to tell the entire house Rizzo, but we'll get to that. And Preston is a hot mess express in terms of what he wants. Preston initially tells us he is between 4 people. He's going to stick to those 4 people. He wants to stick to it, which is Jabbar, Louise, Michael, and Megs are his 4 people that he is considering. When he initially wins, who is calling me? Girl choke. Sorry. Of the 4 people, he initially rolls out Jabbar. He's like, nope, Jabbar comes from 14. He only has Erica. I want to target someone from 16 or 17 because there's still 4 of them each in the house. Over half of this cast is 16 and 17. So that's what I want to do. So Jabbar's off the table. So tell me why some of his first calls as HOH is calling Louise and calling Megs, telling them that they're safe. So he really basically gave himself no wiggle room, almost out the gate here, because he doesn't want to do Jabbar, and then he promises Louise and Meg safety, leaving only Michael. So, but basically Preston's like, Michael's the easy nom. He betrayed me in round 1. We have no connection. We haven't really bonded since that moment. So it's just the easiest thing to do. So that's kind of where we start off the round. Now let's get into all these HOH talks. Immediately, it's about to be a mess. Immediately, Liv is panicking, as she should. Preston's like, you're good with me, but I don't know about Christian. And she's like, please, tell Christian, please save me. Please, like, go cut a deal, go do something. Like, I beg. Because of the whole thing about would Liv have renominated Christian, the fact that it got around to him and she didn't come clean until pretty much after the eviction of Victoria. And him just not believing her story of, I only told you as a fake name, which we'll get there. He didn't like that he was used as the fake name for when she went around telling the Meg supporters that of her renom. She didn't want Megs to know that she actually was the renom, which is revisionist history. At the time when she was saying Christian, she meant it. Obviously, as time went on,
just own up to it. Shit.
Yeah, like
I mean,
like when you're caught in a lie, there's no need to continue to lie about it.
Yeah, you meant it.
Like, just admit it. Like, also, we're fucking adults, so like, what they're gonna do? Beat your ass?
Yeah, like, girl, you went around saying you would nominate Christian because your closest allies told you that Megs would be almost impossible to get rid of. So, and you didn't want to nominate the people necessary to send Megs home. So you basically were like, all right, well, Nikki and Victoria, in worst case, I'll eat up Christian because he's good at comps. And you meant it. Obviously, in time, you realized, it's just not worth burning that bridge with Christian. If I have to renominate, I'll just do Megs and bite the bullet there. The bridge isn't really there anyway, so who cares? Let me just not burn Christian here. But it don't matter. You said it, and it got back to him, and you didn't own it, and you owned it way too late. So, like, you got caught. So Liv is correct to be afraid of Christian. So, and it doesn't help the fact that, again, it's this whole coincidental crap of the timings that people reach out, and it's just coincidence. It's not anything else. But basically, after Preston and Christian competed, where they left feeling pretty confident about themselves, Liv is that's when Liv reaches out to Christian to have this conversation about, hey, I want to own what I said, what I did. I want to talk to you about what happened, yada, yada, yada. But this happened after Christian and Preston competed. So in Christian's mind, he's telling Rizzo that Preston knows that they killed it. He went to Liv to be like, hey, we might be co-HOHs. You need to go kiss ass to Christian, which is not true. None of that happened. It is just pure coincidence that timing worked out in the way that it did. But right now, the narrative that Rizzo and Christian are thinking is that Erica, Preston, and Liv are in an alliance, which is this rumor mill of it's basically a bunch of trios that include Erica. Like all these new rumors that get created about, oh, this person heard from this person and this coincidental thing happened communication-wise. It's Erica and two other fucking people. So rip Erica if she gets thrown into this drama and mess that really doesn't involve her. But for whatever reason, Erica's getting thrown into all this crap. Like she was thrown into the Megs and Preston crap that happened when Megs lied about what she heard from Rizzo, or what she heard about Rizzo, and they think it came from Preston, but then Erica's getting looped into that trio for some reason as well. So I don't know what's happening, but that's happening for some reason. But Christian, I don't know what Christian's doing. So Christian's on.
He's doing a lot while also doing the most.
Yeah, Christian initially is on call with Rizzo, and he's like, he for once is telling someone the truth. He is like, I'm between Liv and Carol right now, for the reasons we already discussed, for Liv for what she did, and then Caro for knowing about what Liv was potentially going to do and not telling him, because he had multiple calls with Caro, and Caro never brought it up to him, so he feels kind of scorned by her. But like, also, babes, I don't know why Caro is getting scapegoated here when half the house knew that your name was out there and not a single soul told you. So like, I don't know why Caro is getting the blunt of this. Like, girl, half the house.
He's right to.
Oh yeah,
Caro and close.
Yeah, cool, for sure. But I'm like, girl, add to that list. There are many more people that should be on this list if that's the people you're targeting. So unfortunate that Caro is kind of being blamed for all of this when there are more people involved in all of this. But he's trying to debate, like, should you do Caro? Should you do Liv? Because Caro is the bigger hit in his mind because Liv has already touched the block. He also tells Rizzo that Trey would be a very safe nomination and not rile up the house because he has no connection to Trey. But that's where he leaves it. He doesn't give Rizzo any indication as to what he's doing, and Rizzo in his mind thinks that it's going to be Trey, because that's where Christian leaves the conversation. My easy nom is Trey. I have no convo with him.
Do you mean Rizzo?
Yeah, like, so Rizzo leaves the call being like, all right, I'm hearing Trey, and like that's the last thing he hears, because he's like, Liv and Caro are big hitters. Caro's the biggest hitter I could go for, but Trey's just easy because I have no connection. Maybe it's too early to like go big at the 15. So like, and then they make the Ed and Eddie alliance, which is Christian, Rizzo, and Michael, and that's where we leave it with any ally that would know anything about what Christian is doing. He leaves it on Trey.
I am fully on what Elise is saying in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Liv should not have been the nominee because Liv is going to spiral regardless. So like, you don't need to put her on the block to spiral. She already has enough pressure. Like, she's going to do that and she's going to fuck up on her own. Caro would have been it and would have had the girlies pressed, and he would have gotten out with it clean.
Yeah.
But Christian insists on saying, like, doing the most and then saying, like, I've caught him on call saying this multiple times now, if it bites me in the ass, so what? Like, at least, like, I'm doing the big move. And I'm like, you can do the big move while also being smart. This is me, hindsight 2020, telling myself this in 16. Hey, you can be smart while also making a big move. Don't be a dumbass. Here's Christian being a complete dumbass. Sorry, whenever you watch this back, I do love you. But you're not being smart at all.
No.
Yeah.
And I fear that you will not last. Is there somebody in my fucking house? you will not last long doing stuff like this.
It's Christian. He's coming here to beat you up. He heard you talking shit.
Girl. I'll throw this hot ass oatmeal on Christian if you
please. No, and we talked about this a few teas ago. I don't remember because time's a fucking construct. We talked about this a few days ago. Like, you can't when you're playing chess, you can't just like be like, all right, gotta go for the queen immediately. You have to make sure you're set up if you're gonna make a big move like this, so it doesn't blow back on you. Like
the thing is,
he handled this completely wrong. He thinks that he's making this big move by putting up Liv. Putting up Liv would have been fine. I don't hate the move. It's still a decent move in my opinion.
Yeah.
How he went about it was so poor. He like basically like put his pawn at the front of the table, at the front of the board, being like, this pawn is gonna take out your queen. Like, bitch, no, it's not. Like, that's how you set up this board. Bitch, shut up. Like, had you played this so much better, I would have been like, great. Liv was a smart move. Good work. Good job. But you handled this so poorly that he's like, if it bites me in the ass, it bites me in the ass. No, that shouldn't be your mentality. Your mentality should have been like, hey, I set up this move. This move is great for my game. If consequences come further in the game that like the wrong winners win and I go out, then so be it. That's the mentality. Not, well, I just pissed off the whole house. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. No, what the fuck are you doing?
And he could have really put himself in a much better position than he is had he made a deal with Preston. Like, you show Preston, and not only Preston, but his allies, hey, that you can have a mature conversation and set something up. He didn't talk to his allies and make sure that they were safe. So now they're kind of feeling some type of way, kind of thing. Like, he had the ability, like, being close with Michael and Michael having that golden key. Like, we'll probably get to that, I'm sure. But Christian could have saved Michael from having to put that up had he been willing to work with other people.
Michael didn't. Christian feels so close to Michael, but has not, like, Michael doesn't feel like Christian is his number one ally. So Michael hasn't even told him about the golden key, which is good, even though Christian wouldn't leak it. But this is really giving Christian the exact same shit he did in 13 with Susie. Like, Liv, first of all, didn't even nominate you for you to be so tunnel visioned on her to get her out, when really you and her are pretty big comp threats in this game and not as social as a lot of the other people. If you two were to have just come together and been like, let's just put this aside and go after people in the house who are actually, pulling the strings at all, because Liv is already on the bottom because she's already touched the block. You know that you're on the bottom because other people have told you, don't do the exact same thing. Like, this is just causing a war between you and Liv, which benefits only everyone else in the house is benefiting from your silly war.
You can't tell him that, though. You cannot tell him that.
And to Bridget's point, I literally lost brain cells when he declined this deal. So let's get to the deal here. Like, and we talked about this yesterday. Lee said, and I totally agree when he said it, this co-HOH will be a failure if Christian refuses to be flexible. And we saw it in 13. We're seeing it here. Christian is stubborn and he's not playing well. It's why he didn't play well in 13. It's why he didn't play well. He's not playing well here because he's stubborn and he's unwilling to be flexible. And he's unwilling to be dynamic. He gets burned by one person and feels the need to target them relentlessly. And Susie bested his ass and he lost. Like, you picked a fight with the wrong fucking one, and Liv is not one to be fucked with either. Liv can win comps too. And I would not be the one fucking with Liv. I would have taken that deal with her and said, you know what? You're right. We both on the bottom. I shouldn't do this. We good. Let's move past this. And people are going to think we're mad at each other. And let's prove them wrong that we're going to be good. And we're not going to let these people pit two bottom players against each other. But instead, he's stubborn as fuck and continued against it. But so Preston gets home and he wants to call Christian. And Preston's plan is to do what I think is a smart idea as co-HOH. You both have people that are untouchables for you. Hey, I have 2 to 3 people. You have 2 to 3 people. Let's agree to just not mutually touch them so we both can walk away with our allies safe and someone mutually good for us to go home. I think that's a great fucking plan because if you both don't make this deal, you have each other targeting someone on your side, and then you walk away as outgoing HOH, and you might have lost an ally out of this. Like, okay. So Preston hops on the call with Christian, and Christian is like, no, everyone's on the table for me. Everyone's on the table for me. No one's safe for me. I don't care about anyone enough to save them in this game, which Preston happily goes around and tells everyone this. Anyone he can tell. Like, I offered him this deal, and Christian said, I don't like anyone enough in this game to save them. On top of the fact that every call Christian is on, Christian's like, I have no clue what I'm going to do, is not offering many people safety at all on these calls. Like, these narratives aren't helping you, Christian. No one is walking away hearing all these narratives being like, oh, Christian likes me. Christian would keep me safe. Everyone is nervous. Erica's name was not said once, and she's spiraling in her house. And Blake is typing in the project being like, Erica's spiraling. Erica is spiraling. She thinks she's going up. And she was never once a nomination option for him. That's how horribly he's handling this. Everyone is nervous.
This is exactly what he did in the first HOH where their whole house was getting canceled and you made no one feel safe. You know what? I have to give it to Preston. I was honestly really impressed with Preston, the way he approached Christian on that call, because he pitched the idea of let's just both keep a couple of people safe. Christian turns it down. And then Preston came back to it and was like, okay, well, I want to keep Liv safe. Like,
yeah. Can we agree to one?
My one person, I want to keep her safe. Her mom is in town this weekend. Like, she kept me safe when my mom was in town. I just, as a person, I want to do that. And Christian was like, But also, Preston was so honest with Christian, saying, I really think maybe I might put Michael up. Like, it seems like that'll get the least amount of blood on my hands. Christian, Michael's number one ally. Christian's like, okay. Yeah. I'm like, Christian, you could do something.
It's a perfect opportunity because you know you want to nominate Liv. And he's like, please don't nominate Liv. You easily could have been like, oh, you want to nominate Michael? Fine. Here's the deal. You don't nominate Michael. I don't nominate. It could not have written itself. It literally was written for him. The sign is right there. The teleprompter is saying it. And he goes, nope, not going to read that. And he just, now you've lost Michael his key, a legacy key that could have benefited him had they made it to 13. And we haven't gotten to what that. We have discussed what that does. Have we? Have we discussed the formalities of what the legacy actually does? I can't remember. Oh God, I don't want to spoil it if we have or we haven't. Oh God, Lee, where are you?
He's in the chat somewhere talking shit.
Did we explain what the legacy actually does?
Oh, we said we haven't.
Fuck. Okay, well, the legacy could have really benefited Christian with Michael having it if they both were at 13, especially if Rizzo's still there. Like, it would have so benefited him. Sure, Michael didn't tell Christian about it. I get that. But, like, you had a prime opportunity to save Michael from the block by just agreeing to not be stubborn and take your anger out on Liv. That's all you had to do was suck up your pride and go, you know what? I can nominate Caro and spare my.
It's the audacity. Is Christian white?
Yes.
White?
It's the caucasity.
I was like, where's
it's the caucasity to run into his DR. I just had to like find it. Will Preston fix our relationship, or is that the last time I'll talk to him for the next couple of rounds? Me. Stay tuned, VL. Stay tuned.
You ruined the relationship, Christian. You did it.
Thank you.
Preston brought a peace offering to the table, and you knocked it out of his hands and punched him in the face, and then was like, "Is he gonna make up with me?"
Like, bitch, you slapped him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, I am not Jesus. I'm not turning the other cheek. Like, if you slap me, I'm slapping you twice.
This bitch.
Like, that sent me. I left. I like closed the app because I was like, I'm not reading this right.
Delulu.
Like maybe my messages loaded incorrectly. Let me open the app back up. Go back to Christian's DR. And no, sure the hell enough, it was there.
Yeah.
It was there in writing, and I was like, wow, the delusion has taken a gone to the next level.
You literally, this man said, I have one person that you can't touch. And you put her up, and then you say, is he gonna ever talk to me again?
And the thing is, Christian was literally in his DR saying before all of this, I'm putting up Liv or Caro.
Yeah, like you had
I'm putting up
options.
Liv or Caro. And then Preston says, hey, not Liv. Like, we can make a deal, not Liv. And instead of just being like, oh, okay, perfect, let's take the deal, I had another option anyway that wasn't said. You being the smart person you are, I'm being so sarcastic right now, decide, no, I don't want that deal. Fuck you. You need to apologize to me because that was disrespectful. What?
It's and there are other things that he
needs
will
my
get to.
Delulu medicine. He needs my Delulu medicine.
It's just, it was hard to watch. Dare I say it, I when I watched Jack Miller in BBH20, I said, wow, this is one of the worst HOHs I've ever seen, and I don't know if anything can top it. And then Lee Farrell came in BBH15 at the double and said, hold my beer. And we have not had an HOH that bad in 5 seasons. And I'm proclaiming it. I'm going to say it. This is the worst HOH I have seen in BBH. Obviously, I've not seen nothing live before 9. I don't know. Anything in the moment might have been worse. It's going to take a lot to top this HOH as being the worst HOH of all time, because it is, in my opinion. Let's get into all the reasons why. And it's on both sides. As much as Preston did a very good job here on this call, this is where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
So they leave this call thinking Preston's nominating Michael and Christian is nominating Trey. Christian is continuing the narrative that Trey's the easy target. Great. That's where we leave it. So Christian starts on his like HOH trail of hearing other people campaign for himself, whatever. And now, for whatever reason, his first call is with Jabbar. He tells Jabbar Trey, and he definitely encourages Trey to not be the option. He tries to bury Liv a bit more in terms of talking about the whole situation of the call that they had about what Liv might or might not have done with that Renam. He also suggesting Sarah. Basically, Christian's trying to figure out, like, if you were HOH, what would you have done? And for whatever reason, after this Jabbar call, because he really trusts Jabbar, Trey is no longer the easy route option here. He is now going to pose the fake name of Rizzo, which, bitch, when I sat there and said, not you being so pissed at Liv for using you as a fake name, regardless if you believe it or not, you're angry that Liv used you as a fake name. And now here you are parading to the entire house with Rizzo as your fake name. I have never seen the biggest pot calling the biggest kettle black in my fucking life. Like, what the hell?
This is giving Republican vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Not this.
This is giving Republican vibes. I'm so sorry, but it's true.
The hypocrisy jumped out. It did. It's true. The hypocrisy of him being so pissed at Liv that he's not taking this deal with Preston, that he's going to lie to the entire house to nominate her because he's so mad that she used him as the fake name, as he's parading around using Rizzo as a fake name. Like, you really cannot write it. It is awful. It is truly terrible gameplay. He lives in Jackson,
Preston's not.
Like, wild.
Preston's not at the top of this game either.
No,
like, he's at the bottom, and so he is technically trying to keep someone else at the bottom safe. Christian, you're at the bottom too. And I will say, I do think Christian's thought process here is like, well, Preston is, if I tell Preston names of who I want to keep safe, Preston's going to run around and tell the whole house, which is true. That definitely would have happened. But now Preston's running around telling the whole house what you said, that you didn't care about anyone. So like, what is worse? At least if you tell them, Michael, you're keeping one of your allies safe for this round.
Yeah,
So I want to say, because if I may, because yesterday, like I have taken the approach last night and this morning of continuing to try to not be pressed about an outcome that we all knew was coming. Like,
True, yes,
truly, because yesterday I said tomorrow, like today on T, if Christian makes the decisions we think he should make, that we would sing his praises. But we said we may not even be right about this, and then I said we probably are, and here we are, correct about what we assumed and presumed he would do. And so I'm trying not to be pressed about it. I was been listening this whole time, and so Carl saying it's the worst HOH of all time.
You cannot tell me it's not. You cannot tell me it is not.
I have some names that may want to have a word, but I'm not going to say those names.
No, say them.
Ooh.
Say them.
I feel like I threw so much punches at this person's HOH in their season. So take the, but
Girl,
Griffin and BBH17 was pretty bad.
Okay, yes, bad.
Jackson 14 was pretty bad.
Yes.
This one reminds me of Jack's, really, because Preston got the wool pulled out of his.
Yeah, Jack is top 3. Griffin is probably 4 for me. Lee is 2. Like at 15, you're burning. You're at top 15, and you don't have a single person leaving your HOH feeling good about you. Like, come on. Hell, like it gets no worse than that. Like Griffin was at 10, Jack was at 10, I think too. Like this is even worse. Like you have a bigger sample size of someone to like you, and not a single person is walking away being like, yeah,
and so, are you just putting that distinction on Christian, or are you putting it on
both of them in tandem? Oh, both of them are bad, because I'll get to Preston, how much ridiculousness he went through. I'll get to him. It's in tandem, but mostly Christian. I think Christian's the catalyst for this shit HOH, because he didn't take the deal. Mm-hmm. But Preston doesn't handle what Michael does well either at all. And how Preston's approaching it now, still to this very second, is awful.
I think we'll disagree on that, maybe potentially, because I know where you're headed with that. But get into it.
You're gonna have to sell me on that one. Thank God you're here. Tell the girls to stay out of the classroom when they bombarded you yesterday. You have to stay here. You can't leave.
They quite literally. That was crazy.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We have finished this. So Christian, and this is what's so crazy to me, is Christian has now taken Trey off. He's now saying Rizzo's the fake name. To Elisa's credit, he did tell Rizzo that he would be the fake name, but it wasn't immediate. It was after a few calls.
But still pretty quick.
It's like decently quick. He's had like 4 or 5 calls at this point, and he's like, "Oh, Rizzo, I forgot to tell you, I'm definitely pushing you as the name, but like, don't worry, you're not the name." So like, it's just as bad. Like, sure, it's still quick. It's way better than how Liv handled it, but like, it could have gotten to Rizzo before you had told Rizzo. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. He then hops on call with Sarah because he's trying to figure out like this whole renom crap. And he feels like Sarah's lying to him. Yet, for whatever reason, Sarah, I love Sarah. I'm happy she's safe. But, like, he thinks she's fucking lying. And he thinks that Liv is telling him the truth and that Sarah's lying. But Sarah's not an option because he's stubborn as fuck and refuses to get past his hatred for Liv.
Because Sarah says she didn't. Sarah says she didn't know that he was a renom option.
Which isn't true. Liv very much did tell Sarah that it would be Megs or Christian. She knew, and she's trying to protect Liv because Liv, she's in the almost alliance with Liv. She's not trying to sell out Liv. So Sarah's being a good ally, but Liv already kind of sold everyone that Liv told the entire schedule of who she told what. So like Christian fully knows if anyone tells him not the truth, he knows it's not the truth. But
to Sarah's point, her not using the veto then would have saved Christian. So him being mad at her not using the veto when he was a renom option doesn't make any fucking sense.
He's just mad.
Nothing this cast does make sense.
He's just mad that no one's telling him the truth, which should be the indication to him that you're on the fucking bottom and you need to reassess your game. Like, people aren't lying to you to lie to you. They're lying to you because they don't trust you and they're not working with you and they're trying to protect Liv in what she said. But instead, he's all pissy in the pants because he's upset that no one was honest with him during the time. What makes this even worse? Oh my god! As I'm rereading this agenda, it's making me fuel with anger even more. He hops on call with after Sarah. He calls Megan, and both Sarah and Megan were like, "If I was HOH, I probably would have nominated Michael." So in his early sample sizes of calls, a lot of people are mentioning that they would nominate Michael because Michael also is not in a great position in this game. He's an easy nomination. Not a ton of people have any kind of game bond with him. They all like him, but like we're at the point now where that don't matter. So Christian comes to his DR being like, a lot of people would nominate Michael. So I'm guessing Michael's probably going to go home against most people because in his mind, Preston's nominating Michael. So he's already under the impression whoever he nominates is going up against Michael. And he's like, well, sounds like Michael's going to go home against most people. Your top ally that you just formed an alliance with, you think is going to go home. And instead of maybe, I don't know, rethinking your nomination to try and save Michael, I don't know, nominate someone like Nikki or someone that's weaker than him to possibly save him. You instead, nope, let's double, triple, quadruple down. Let's continue nominating someone who I think will send my ally Michael home. Like, he doesn't even think for a second to even change it. He's just like, well, I guess Michael has to die.
And Preston wanted to talk with him again at the end of all of them talking to other people in the house. Like, Christian, you probably could have brought it back up to Preston and been like, actually, like, I do want to keep someone safe. A lot of people have been saying this, and if you nominate Michael, I'll nominate Liv. So let's just both not nominate either of them. Like, just bring it back. Save them. Save your number one ally.
And then maybe they could have made like some kind of freaking renom clause kind of thing.
Yes,
like, for initial noms. Like it truly, like, I think this is the worst decision that I've seen in what season is this? 20 in 4 seasons that I've been in the BBH world. Like, this is quite literally the worst decision. Not making a deal for your allies, for yourself.
It's just so short-sighted and pointless. And
yeah, short-sightedness is the one thing that I will always be upset about. Because you have to look at every day what is happening.
I said I'm hiding.
Oh yeah, because every day, like, in every situation you're presented within the game is an opportunity, and your answer should always your yes should always be on the table. Like, and Christian's yes was not on the table, and I don't understand it. Like, and we see it in these games a lot. We talked about it with Michael Brady. We talked about it with Griffin, like, and we talked about, like, it happened on Survivor last night. Like, these people just like keep saying no to these opportunities, and I don't understand. I don't understand it. You were talking about like the deal that could have been made, and so, wasn't it Griffin that also like made a deal with who did he make? Someone made a deal that had these like renom clauses that I thought was so funny. I don't remember what. Anyway,
that's what that reminded me again. So I'm not sure if it's that. I don't remember.
What was it anyway?
Audrey, you and Jeff made that deal to keep each other safe because you guys were going back and forth and winning comps, which is exactly what Christian could do with Liv.
AJ and Daniel came together and
this
made
is
a
the
deal,
first time that I've ever been praised for a move on this morning team. Yes. I am a new person.
Yeah, I don't know why he was just so. And I get it. Like, Christian would have nominated Preston had it been a single HOH or solo HOH. He doesn't trust Preston, but it's not like Preston's not untrustworthy. Preston is a pretty honest person for the most part until we get to later today on this team. When he says something, he usually means it. Like, he really does. And he was very upset when someone like Michael lied to him and betrayed him, and he felt like obviously he was like, obviously he made more deals than he could honor in round 1, which is why he then threw the HOH, so he didn't have to go back on his word. Like, I'm not saying he's perfect, but like usually when he says something.
Yeah, and to me, Preston showed so much honesty in that conversation, saying, I want to save Liv. Like that, I understand you being hesitant when Preston gives that suggestion, like, let's each name people we don't want to, that we want to keep safe. I understand being like, no, maybe not. And but then when Preston says again, okay, well, here's my person, that is showing you that he's being honest with you, and they're close. Like, it's well known around the house that they're close. So he's being honest with you. You can be honest back.
Here's something that Christian said yesterday, something that he said plus his actions really pissed me off. He was on call with, I cannot remember who he was on call with, but he was like, I don't care what prod is calling this season. This is my all-star season. Like, they can call it a returning season. They can call it a second chances season. I'm calling this my all-star season. So I'm starting to think from my off-camera-ness, okay, this is your all-star season, but you are refusing to set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
That's not an all-star. That's not an all-star move. That's why this is a returning season.
Yeah. I'll try and like the short-sightedness, I have a hard time looking past. Christian said his noms hours upon hours before the co-HOH was even like announced as the twist for the round, whatever. Like, and so that short-sightedness, I can't get by. I can forgive not seeing the big picture, because if you're being fooled, for a lack of a better word, by a Jabbar and the people on that side, because that's one person he keeps saying he trusts. Don't know why, but he keeps saying that. So like I can get past those things. It's the non-flexibility that I can't get past. And so there's two sides to it. So there is some grace, Christian, when you do watch this, and there is time to recover. But it's not great.
I don't know what time he has to recover, but we'll get there. I don't think a single person doesn't spare. Like, I think almost every person has to nominate him as HOH next round, and we'll get.
Christian is in ICU. Christian is in ICU.
Yeah, he better hope. He better hope the next veto is Christian Nyman trivia, because his ass gonna need it next week. He's gonna need it.
And that's the unfortunate part. Because it's not for lack of trying for him. It's not because he's not like thinking in some capacity through this. He just heard one bit of information about what the fate of his game could have been and was not, and decided to declare war. And it's unfortunate that bit of information wasn't passed by a different person about a different situation, because this could be a whole other outcome for him. And the co-HOH is so tricky because so often the easy move gets made, but you had two people who are so positioned to flip things around or at least shake things up, and they didn't.
They didn't. No, did not. Because and again, I blame Christian. Like, Preston tried. Had Christian taken the deal, I think we would have reached a solution inadvertently that actually was really good for their games, not because they were like, oh, we're at the bottom, we should nominate people who are at the top. It would have just, by the nature of the deal, come together where they end up with maybe Jabbar and Caro noms, which would have been really fucking good for their games. But instead, because they didn't cut the deal because of Christian, we end up with noms that are bad for both of them. So let's get to, so we have Christian calling everyone, being like, Rizzo's my nom, yada, yada, yada. He's lying through his teeth, telling everyone, no one's safe. I don't feel good with anyone. Everyone's on the table, yada, yada, yada.
So weird.
Press is going around doing the exact opposite. Hey, you're good. You're safe with me. My nomination is Michael. We're all good.
He's playing his own personal safety chain, but he gets to hand out every chain.
Like, call after call after call. Oh, I just called Megan Graham and call this person. Like, it just was, you're safe. Well, Michael calls Rizzo because Rizzo has now been told that, hey, Preston's gonna nominate Michael. So Rizzo calls Michael, being like, what are the details of your key? I'm hearing you're going up. What are the details of your key? Like, can you vote if you use it? Like what, give me more of the details. That call gets cut short because he was told via text that Michael was going up. Rizzo then has to go call Preston to get more like confirm about it. So that call gets cut short. And then Preston calls Michael right after. So Michael has no time to kind of consult Rizzo about what may or may not transpire on this call. And Michael is in the headspace of, I need to make sure that Preston doesn't nominate me. I don't want to lose my key. I want to keep holding it. And Michael just exposes the key. And again, I know the Michael Stan clubs are going to come for me. He's not playing well. I'm sorry. He's just not playing well. He's inexperienced, and his inexperience is showing big time. Like, there is a way to fight for yourself without needing to use the key as collateral here. Especially when there's another key in the game where Preston can go behind your back, figure out all the details about the key, and go behind your back and go back on this deal. And it had Michael not made that decision, it could have happened. Like,
Michael should have gone to Nikki pretty much right after she got
immediately.
But in this round, too, should have gone to Nikki and been like, I have this key. I think Preston might put me up. Like, or I don't know, but I'm going to be nicer to Michael, mainly because this was one of the most entertaining things that's ever happened. And so whatever, but I understand Michael's thought process of why he thought he could make this deal with Preston. And like, honestly, if this was a Survivor game, I could see it working out better, this deal with Preston, because it's kind of like if you compare it to having an idol or something. And so you're like, I have this thing, but this isn't a Survivor game. And the way the key works is if Preston was Lamont, let's just say, or someone like Lamont type of player, and you did this with them, all he would have to do is be like, okay, I take the deal, send it to me. And then you send them the key, and then he's going to put your ass on the block. Like, you do this with the wrong person. Like, Michael got lucky that Preston is not that type of player, because there are people who would do that to you. And
Preston could have also just taken the deal and not nominated him. That's an option too.
That's true. That's true.
And Carl, no one, at least I have. No, I'm not being delusional. I'm being honest. No one ever said, or at least I never said,
there we go.
that Michael is a good player. I said Michael deserved a second chance to be on this game because he did, and he does. Yeah. And his social game and the relationships that he makes with people is truly the only good thing about Michael's game.
Michael is figuring it out, though.
And what I did say was he needed a mature, a vet, a strong player to pick him up and show him the ropes. And this fucking cast isn't doing that. Christian is being a horrible fucking ally. Rizzo
tried
looking in a mirror. He's trying, but he's also looking in the mirror, like checking himself out. Erica is too busy hanging out over there with Megs and everybody. Like, none of these players that I said should pick him up and help him and nurture him are doing their fucking jobs.
Liv is trying, but she's not really in a position to.
Yeah, exactly.
So Michael is not a great player. He's a decent player who is still trying to figure it out. So I'm giving him grace that I'm not giving a lot of other players, period.
And honestly, if Michael hadn't played the key, this would have been, to me, like complete garbage. When he was telling Preston, I was like losing my shit. Like, why would you do this? And I thought he maybe wasn't going to use the key, and we're going to see Michael leave. Like, but he ends up using it, so that's good. But like, and that is actually what, in my mind, gave him more grace and saved him.
Yeah, like, had he not used it, because ultimately he's over here telling Preston, "Hey, here's the key. Like, if you don't nominate me, and if you're in danger moving forward, I promise to transfer the key to you because it is transferable." And just basically trying to throw anything at the wall. He swore on his kids, which I trust he means it. If he meant it, again,
Michael's not a liar.
I don't have any opposition to swearing on people and things.
I swear on my kids. I swear on my parents. Like, who cares?
Like, I'm not a parent. I'm not a parent. Like, I don't know, but like, I'd lie on people, so whatever.
You know how many times my grandma? Never mind. Let me stop.
They leave that call, and Michael's his project being like, I don't know if I should have told Preston that, because if he's close with Nikki, he could go talk to Nikki as he's on call with Nikki. Like, he's already being like, I probably should have thought that through. And as soon as he realizes the flaw in his strategy, he's like, he could be on call with Nikki right now talking about the key. And he's like, and literally as Preston's on call was like, see, you think too late. You think too late. Preston's on call with Nikki getting all the details. When you have to use it by, like, like what are the details? Like, if I want to snake Michael, if I want to go back on this deal, how can I snake him in a way where that key is now unusable? And he gets all the details. He knows it has to be used before the nomination ceremony window opens. So if he doesn't hear an announcement from us at 10:30, before 10:30, saying Michael's safe, he knows that Michael is now not safe for the round. The key's useless for the round, and he can nominate Michael and get rid of him. Preston now has all the details because Michael did not do a good job in talking to Nikki, being like, hey, what is our plan moving forward? Are we keeping this a secret? What are we doing? And instead, he let Nikki be like, oh, well, I want to be safe for the round, so whatever you need, Preston, babes, here's all the deets. And what's even worse is Nikki, it's late for her. She wants to go to bed. So she hops off the call and then texts Preston, oh, hey, we can talk more about this tomorrow, but if Michael holds onto his key for a little bit longer, he has immense power. Just heads up.
And Preston's on call
with almost
reading them exactly this text.
Word for word, he's telling Sarah, Liv, and oh god, who else is in that alliance? Erica.
Was Erica there? I don't think Erica was
not
there.
yet at that moment, but she gets clued in later because I think she's on call with Christian at the time, basically being like, so here's the twist. We figured it out. Go us. We figured out the twist, and Sarah and Liv are like, flush the key, get rid of it, flush the key, like put them up, get rid of it, flush it. So literally, I'm over here sitting. If Michael is delusional enough to think that Preston's going to honor this deal, all Preston has to do is wait till 10:31, see you haven't used it, and put your ass up, and you're done. Because then everyone's going to know you have this power, and they're all going to vote you out now. Even though would he have survived normally against Liv on the block? Yes, but now that everyone knows he has this power, he's a goner.
Yeah,
they're going to vote his ass out. Even if he can transfer, they don't fucking care. They want it gone. So like now he's put himself in a position where all his trust is in Preston. Luckily, Rizzo gets on call with him afterward and was like, bro, you shouldn't have done that. And also, bro, you should use it. Like if all he has to do is call Nikki and Michael's like, yeah, here are the details. And Rizzo's like, use it because Preston's going to know that a way around this. Like it's not, you can use this at the renom ceremony. Like you need to just use this. Like it's just not worth it. So luckily Preston's already considering other options, while also in the back of his mind being like, my alliance is asking me to flush it. So like, if I don't hear any words, maybe I should just put up Michael. Michael uses the key. We let the house know that he's safe, which sends some of the house into a spiral because some of the house already knew it existed, like almost knew it existed. Liv ran and tell Caro because who doesn't tell Caro something in this game?
Preston had called Trey about it before the announcement too.
Let's get to that. So this is why I think Preston's HOH turned from strong start to garbage is because
first of all, he went around before calling Michael, called like most of the house really saying, I'm going to nominate Michael. Don't worry, you're safe. You're safe. I'm nominating Michael. Like, told everyone.
You're safe.
Then he talks to Michael. Then the game explodes. Then he's like, well, I already told everyone they were safe.
Again, it's like, Preston, you might have to still name a renom. Like, you still need to keep at least a second person not safe, at least, at minimum. Again, like I won't blame him for going around telling everyone he's going to nominate Michael. I get it. He didn't know the twist existed. That's fine. I don't care. But like when you promise safety to everyone and you have no other options left, you're a clown because even if you nominate Michael and Michael won veto, you still need a renom.
Right.
You need someone. So like you can't promise safety to everybody. So he's panicking because he's like, well, fuck, if he uses the key, I've already promised safety to, by my calculations, everyone in the house. So I go back on one of those. And he's panicking because he's like, well, shit. And now this twist exists. Now he's like, would people be enticed to go up on said block? So he's talking with Almos, with Erica, Liv, and Sarah being like, we know Christian's nominating Rizzo. Who can we put up on the block that will be safe against Rizzo? We all vote. We all get rid of Rizzo. we give them the key and they're going to be so gracious to us. We can get out of this. No blood. They're going to be so happy we gave them a safety without
Preston,
power.
just put yourself on the block if you want the key so badly. Yeah.
This would be the indication that this is stupid because your alliance members are all like, not me. Nope, don't want that shit. Nope. So why would anyone want it, Preston? Like, if 3 people you're looking at are your top allies are like, nope, do not want that shit. Do not put my ass on the block. I'm not taking that gamble. Why would anyone else? Obviously, there are people in the house who do want it because they're crazy psychos.
And also, like, if anyone is volunteering to go on the block, I'm voting them out.
Like, if they are confident, if they have the votes, yeet their ass out now.
Like, with a quickness. Like, oh, you want it so bad? Okay, have fun at home.
Toodles, bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
I will say this is a very fun aspect of Christian lying about the nom. I mean, it was fun.
It created a shitstorm in this situation because now they're operating in the mindset that we're going to evict Rizzo against whoever we put up to give them the key, but they want to control who gets it. They want to feel like they owe them something. So they throw out Trey's name. They're like, would Trey be okay with it? And they're like, all right. Preston's like, I'm going to go call Trey. He calls Trey, and Trey's like, girl, the fuck not. Goodbye. I'm not going up on the block. And then my favorite thing is Preston goes, do you think Lamont would be upset with this? And Trey's like, girl, go fucking call Lamont. I don't fucking know. Like, go ask him. I'm not sure. Like, the hell? So he's like, maybe I'll do Lamont. So then he hops on a call with Almost. He's like, all right, maybe we should just do Jabbar. And he's just picking any name. He's just picking names out of a hat at this point, going like, all right, what do you think about this person? Would they like it? Nope. Okay. Next name. Like,
well, I mean, to be fair, he's picking the people he doesn't feel close with first.
But that's the thing, is the fact is now he has shown to Trey, Lamont, and Louise that he doesn't value you. He's willing to get rid of you. He's willing to pawn you up there and go, well, if they leave, they leave. But like best case, they walk away with the key and they'll maybe like me a little bit more. Like he is showing all his cards by offering it. Like, girl, if it was actually an advantage to be on the block, your ally would be up there. But it's not. You're not posing it that way. You're not posing it that way. So anyone who knows that he was posed this idea knows they're not at the top of Preston's list. He's exposed all his cards. Luckily, they get to a point where they discuss Louise, and he calls Louise, and Louise is down to go up on the block. But this is all under the perception that she's going up against Rizzo, and Preston's like, don't worry, babes. I have an alliance that has all promised me to save you. One, why are you even mentioning you have an alliance to someone who's not in the alliance? Like, one, ridiculous.
Especially to Louise, we already know that she's not about that.
Yeah, Louise is about to go spread this shit to high noon. Obviously, he didn't say who was in it, but like he's like, I have an alliance together. Who's
I think that's worse than not spilling like the details of who's in it. Because now she can suspect literally anyone, and then like at this point, people who aren't in the mess can get brought into this mess. So like, I think this screws up a lot of people's game, alluding to an alliance that I don't know. Like I hated that.
Oh, Elise, your comment. Oh, we'll get there, my love. Don't you worry. I'll get there. Oh, it's on my agenda. It's on my agenda. So he finds Louise. Hunky dory. He finds Louise and promises her the world. Well, Christian then finally decides to man up and calls Liv and is like, well, Liv, I'm thinking Rizzo, or I might do a nomination that's best for my game. And Liv goes, is that me? And they spend 20 minutes on call. This call's bad. This call
was hilarious.
Poorly. Christian makes this nomination feel so personal. Like it left game and became so much of a call that made it feel like, I just don't like you, Liv. That's just how that call came off. It was like it just came off so personal, and she felt awful. She's with her mother, which, I mean, again, that's not a reason to not nominate somebody. Sure. But like, her mom is literally 5 feet away, and you're kind of making Liv feel like a shit human being and basically saying that you don't like her. And it left game. And I know that wasn't his intention, but that's how it felt and how he spoke about it. But again, I don't think he knows how to handle situations like this because he didn't make Sarah feel very good either when he confronted her earlier in the day. He had to go and apologize to her after being like, I'm so sorry that I came across confrontational. That's just how he comes off. And like it came across very confrontational and very personal when he was basically like chastising Liv on this call about why all the reasons he has to put her up and how he's unwilling to look past anything other than what happened the day prior. So it just left game, and I just didn't like this call at all. And
I'm hoping and praying that Liv wins the veto because in that conversation, Christian, like in a span of like 3 minutes, like very quick, he is uncertain on what his nom is going to be. He's talking the Rizzo thing. He's telling Liv, I'm 80-20 on you. Like, I have not made a decision yet.
80-20 was really
literally 80-20. When I say my mouth fell,
ground beef.
like literally, he was like, I'm 80-20 on you. Liv says something, and then the next moment that Christian speaks, it has gone from 80-20 to 100%. Well, I'm putting you up. You went from giving someone hope in a span of like, hey, like you have a chance to not be my nom kind of thing, to making up your mind in less than 3 minutes. Like, if Liv survives, Christian is public enemy number 1. He is on life support. Do not resuscitate. His ass is going to the morgue.
Yeah, it's bad. Like the call just bad.
I do want to talk about Liv's pitch to Christian a little bit because it wasn't particularly stellar either.
No.
Like I had some fundamental issues with it. She started with, from when I jumped in, the 2 main points that I remember her giving. The first being the like, I'm not coming after you. Plenty of people are coming after me. And that's all true and good and correct. I wish she would have leveled with him on a game level more, frankly, because then she pivots from there to the like, oh, and you don't want to give me this power, do you? And I'm like, you don't want to threaten. Don't threaten. Like, oh, you're going to give me this power and I'm going to use it against you is basically the implication.
But then, so
go ahead.
To your point of like, Liv should have talked more game and like reason with him there. I don't think Christian was willing to reason on a game level with Liv
no.
So like it would have, while her pitch was horrible, like.
Well, then I think she should have pleaded on a game level and said, look, you have to understand, like come out of hot. You have to understand this is where we're at right now. This is where people are coming after me. Tons of people. I am target numero uno in this house, and you taking me out does nothing for your game at all. Like if you're not going to just do the whole "I'm not coming after you, you're not coming after me" thing, just say, "Look, you coming after me is stupid."
It's not a great pitch, but I get she's flustered because for the last 3 hours, everyone's messaging her, being like, "Yeah, just call with Christian. Don't really know anything." Like he's not giving me any information, so like she's spiraling, thinking it's gonna be her, even though everyone's like it's Rizzo, and in the back of her head, she's like, I don't know. The only person who sees through this bullshit is Megs. Megs is like, Christian likes Rizzo. The fuck? Like this makes no fucking sense.
Oh, that was the other thing. Yes, the other part of the pitch was she kept pitching Rizzo, and I'm like, this is just not it.
Her fault. Like that's what she was told. So like she's got no other reason to believe that like that's her only option to her mind. So like I get it. My issue with it is that Liv gets told by the end of the call that it's going to be her. She runs around and tells everyone that it's her, which shocks the house because the house was like, he never even mentioned you. So now, again, we're in the situation where everyone's like, oh, okay, Christian told a few people that it was going to be Liv, and I'm just not one of those people. Great, so I know where I stand with Christian. No, babes, no one was told. Christian kept it a secret from everyone, burning every bridge he has. He's now unpredictable. No one feels good with him because they weren't even given the heads up of who it would be. Every call, he's like, don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden, he knows what he's going to do. And the name that he brought up wasn't the name that he said in all his calls. So, like, I don't know how he gets out of this. Like, no one's going to trust anything he says anymore because he just burned everyone. He just lied to everyone for 4 hours as the HOH with no reason to lie. Zero reason to lie. And then let's get back to why Preston sent me to the fucking moon. Not in a good way. Made me want to get far away from him. Is Christian and Preston had this deal to let's regroup after we have called whoever we want to call. Let's regroup before we make the nominations, and let's get on call together. If I'm a co-HOH, I sure as hell am not sending in my nomination video until I have heard from the other co-HOH about 100,000% what you're doing. I'm not sending in fucking shit until I hear from the other HOH. Because, of course, all he's hearing is Rizzo. I was just on call with him. Until Christian
especially if your co-HOH is not your ally.
Until I fucking am told by Christian from his lips on call that you're nominating Rizzo, I'm not sending in fucking shit. With 40 minutes left in the window, he sends in his video to nominate Louise. Which immediately I'm like, why are you sending in a video? Like, wait until you talk to Christian. Like, what are you doing? Like, just wait. Like, and obviously he had messaged Christian, be like, hey, let's talk. And he's still waiting because Christian's berating Liv. So like, he's having to wait, but he's impatient. So then Liv messages Preston being like, I'm going up, SOS. Like, Louise is going up on the block as a pawn because she thinks she's going up against Rizzo, and it's not Rizzo, it's me. And we just promised her that we'd all vote to save her. But that was under the pretenses that it's Rizzo, and it's not Rizzo, it's me. And Preston just sits there on his hands being like, well, I guess there's nothing we can do. Take back your nomination, Preston. Ask. Like, you know the rules. The rules are once we have the nominations, we'll reveal them. We don't have them yet, so you can take it back. Like, he just sits there being like, oh, damn, that really sucks. Damn. Of course, on my HOH, this would happen. Like, do something.
So many people on this cast don't know how to stand on business. Okay, and my white friends, my
can you help me?
Friends, I was about to, Josh and I was giving you like stand on business means to like to step their game up, step your bread up, like talk that talk, walk that walk. You know what I'm saying?
Sweet I think Jesus. Preston just didn't want to. Like,
no, he doesn't. I don't get it.
Because he could have just done it. And I just feel like it was an excuse. Like, I don't know. Like,
and when Liv fucking finds out, that Preston hoed you, I hope Liv survives and puts up Preston and Christian.
Like, it was baffling. And I'll get to why I'm so... fucking baffled. like you just made this and again, Preston likes Rizzo. Preston doesn't have a bad relationship with Rizzo. He doesn't necessarily want Rizzo to leave, but Preston has just made this huge plan to keep Louise safe and yeet out Rizzo because that's what he was under the impression of. You made all these deals and shit to yeet Rizzo out. You now get told that Christian has lied to you for the past 4 hours and the entire house, and the deals that you've made are no longer valid because Rizzo's not going up. It's Liv, who, based on your trust rankings, is number one for you. Number one. In the words of SpongeBob, he was number one. And instead, you sat on your ass and said, oh, well, I guess you're still up against Louise, babes. You rescind that nomination, and you put up, you guessed it, Rizzo. You made all of these deals to get rid of Rizzo. You put his ass up. Like, the fuck are you doing? Do you think, are there brain cells up there? Because you just cut all these deals to get rid of Rizzo, and then you're just not going to put Rizzo up? It made no sense. So, in the end, Christian sends in his video shortly after. Did Preston and Christian hop on call? No. Is Christian livid that Preston would send in his nomination before they would call? Yes. Did Christian do literally the same thing that he's pissed about Preston doing? Also, yes. Christian is, I'm sorry, he's one of those baffling players I've watched in my 7 seasons of being on BBH Prod. I don't get it. He's so angry about, he's like, I cannot believe Preston did this. You did it too. You sent in your video before you called Preston. And you lied to the entire house. You didn't just lie to Preston. You lied to the entire house and just sprung this nomination last minute. But you're pissed that Preston didn't give you the heads up that he's putting up Louise and just sending his video. Girl, the pot gets bigger and the kettle gets bigger. Like, what the hell?
This is quite literally my biggest pet peeve. Bitch, why are you mad that Preston is doing the exact same thing that you are doing?
I don't get it.
Like,
You know how we could have avoided all this if Christian took the deal.
What's the deal?
let's make a deal. Like,
I know
where the
deal
fuck is
deal
Wayne
last
Brady at?
round, but
Where is
None of
Wayne
it
Brady?
was
Let's make a fucking deal, and they didn't make the damn deal.
And you know what? I'm glad. We wouldn't have gotten all this entertainment if Christian had taken that deal. So,
But Tay, listen, I am tired of eating. I am tired of feasting, and this cast just keeps on saying, "Well, that's too damn bad."
Like, it just is so baffling. So we end up with Louise and Liv nominations. Honestly, if the noms were to stay the same, I don't think they will, because I think the only person who won't be using the veto would be Christian of the 6 people playing. So it's Preston and Christian, Liv, Louise, Erica, Nikki. We'll get to Preston in a second. The noms obviously save themselves. Nikki would save Louise. Erica, I'm unsure what she would do, but I can't imagine she's not using it. I would assume she's using it on somebody. It's just a question of who, and we'll get to why. Preston is telling us he would save Louise, so we'll get to that in a second. But if the noms were to stay the same, if Christian somehow wins this veto and they stay the same, this vote's actually quite close. I think you have 4 people who for sure save Louise in Jabbar, Megs, Megan, and Nikki, and you've got 3 people who for sure save Liv in Trey, Lamont, and Sarah, based off of the conversations that we have been told. I would assume Erica also saves Liv, making it 4-4. Caro, I would assume, saves Liv as well. That's 5-4 in favor of Liv. And then it comes down to Rizzo, who has great bonds with both, but like had his number 1 conversation with Liv a couple of days ago. So like I would think he leans Liv as well, which would mean Liv would stay 6-4. But again, who knows with this house, because half of them are cowards and just want to vote in the majority. So who fucking knows what they'd actually end up doing. But I think Liv actually would stay here. But again, it's close because a lot of these people have good connections with both of them. So there are people who could flip both sides.
And now that the power is out, that is becoming a factor of like, well, do we want Liv to have this power?
Exactly.
I think that's going to end up happening a lot.
Like that's also interesting too. But let's get into the fact while Preston is sitting on his ass and being like, oh, well, I guess Louise is still on the block against you, Liv. Well, you have to win the veto. And you know what, Liv? I'm going to win that veto and I'm going to save you. Cut 2 minutes later where he's in his prod chat being like, well, guess Liv has to die today. Your trust rankings have her at number 1. She's literally at the top. You tell her you're going to use the veto on her. And now you're in your prod chat being like, well, guess she has to die. Are there brain cells up there? Do you think you literally had Louise in your bottom 4 when you won co-HOH? You're like, yeah, Louise could go up. I could put her up. She's very low on the trust rankings. And you would rather save her with the veto. You would rather jeopardize Liv, your number 1 in the game, to save Louise. I understand that he sees that there is power. So I'll give him this. There is power in vetoing your own in vetoing your own nom, because if he vetoes Liv, he has no control over who the renom is because it goes to Christian. I get that. Okay. All right. Okay. Sell me on this. All right. So he was like, I want to save Louise because there's more power in me naming the renom up against Liv so I can kind of control Liv's fate. Okay, I'm with you. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's going to nominate Nikki, someone pretty weak that is going to save Liv. Oh no, the renom would be Jabbar. Are there brain cells up there? I am also questioning if Preston is a good Big Brother player. Like, you're now going to doom your number 1 to die on the block next to Jabbar? Hello? What are we thinking here? Like,
just save Liv. If you win the veto, just save your number 1 ally. These people are jumping through hoops. when
all opacity, no brain cells.
forward, yeah.
Like, I would have been all here for him to be like, yep, I'm going to save Louise. I'm going to put up Nikki. They're all going to evict Nikki because she has a key already. Get a key out. Sure, Liv gets a key, but Nikki, like, they'd have the votes to eat Nikki because Nikki's just not well insulated. Like, I would have been all here for that. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant, Preston. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, bitch. Good work. Because if you let Christian name the renom against Louise, you might not have the votes to save Louise. And you're going to feel like an awful piece of shit because you promised her safety. I'm with you. And then he said the renom would be Jabbar. I'm like, are you blind? Because Stevie Wonder can see Jabbar is staying over Liv. Anyone with eyes, anyone with a brain could tell you Liv stands not a chance in hell. Like, I don't understand if Preston turned off his brain when he was typing this last night, because it makes no sense. Like, unless you don't actually care for Liv and your trust rankings are full of shit, which maybe they are, and maybe that's what I'm basing this entire thing off of, that you put Liv at number 1 and she's your girl and she fought so hard for you in round 1 and you were gonna ride or die with her, and now you're going to throw to the wolves against Jabbar. After you made this entire plan because you wanted to control who had the golden key. So you wanted to ensure the nominee that stayed was in your good graces. And so you're going to put up Jabbar, who you can't control, who isn't with you and would stay, and therefore you get nothing of what you asked for, and you lose your number 1 ally. I'm that girl with all the fucking math formulas coming around. Like, I don't see the logic line. Maybe someone does, and someone can tell me in the BL. Like, I'm happy to be wrong, but like, there
is no logic line, my friend. There's not a single logic line about this.
I think Preston just felt guilty that he had to nominate Louise, and he's just. It's like they have one thing in their head, Preston, a lot of people on the cast, and can't get off that like drive. And it's just like straightforward, like, and maybe his sleeping would help Preston. And now he can wake up and be like, oh, I shouldn't let my number 1 ally get the game.
Again, I asked the question, why is Rizzo not the renom? You made all of these plans to send him home. I get you have a good relationship with him. I get that. But you have people promising to evict him. You have votes. And
maybe Preston doesn't. Maybe Preston doesn't think Jabbar is as well connected as he is.
And that's just delusional. Like, it's fucking Jabbar.
Anyone that knows Jabbar should know that he's an amazing player.
Like, why is Rizzo not the renom? Or, I'm sorry to say it, I love Nikki. She has a key. Yeet someone who has a key. Especially now that you know that it turns into something stronger. Yeet it.
These people are not smart.
like they know that Nikki could transfer it still. I get that. But force the transfer. Like, yeah. Like,
force
don't let her just have it. Force, like, you, like, I just, oh my God. I don't get it. Like, I'm really, like, yesterday, Team TV, eating, munch. But, like, last night when I laid in bed, I was just like, none of this makes sense. None of it. Not a single thing that happened last night makes sense.
Me having a depressive episode.
It just was like, Like, even this morning, me and the SpongeBob in front of my coffee, I was just like, I just can't make sense of it. And I love Preston and Christian. I really do. But I can't sit here in good faith and defend their HOH, because that would be wrong with me. Like, nothing they did made sense. After Preston made the deal, made sense. Once it was shot down, nothing made sense after that. Like, nothing either of those two did made a lick of fucking sense. And they're still not making a lick of fucking sense right now. And, like, if Liv was to come off the block, Christian is going to continue blindsiding people because his renom is Caro. He's going to continue burning his game to the fucking ground. After you told everyone it would be Rizzo, then the conversation turned to, all right, well, I'm going to do Liv. I'm not going to do the easy route. And then now you're going to do Caro? Like, everyone is just going to feel that you're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. They're going to feel like you have no decency for anyone in the game, that you didn't even, like, give them an ounce to feel, one, safe, two, any inkling of an idea of what was going on in your head. Like, you don't need to give them everything. I'm not asking for that. But the fact is, you said Rizzo all day. So when Rizzo is not the original nom or the renom, they're going to be like, what are we doing here then? Like, why do I have any conversation with you if you can't even be honest with me about your fucking initial nomination? Like, damn. Like,
and if you think you're hiding some type of relationship with Rizzo, it is the biggest red flag, I think, that you went around saying his name and then he's not a nom or a renom. Hello? People aren't stupid.
It's just...
And Rizzo's not nervous.
The only thing that can put back together Christian's game is Samia's glue.
Not that. Like, the fact is, it's fine if you wanted to go around saying a fake name, but the problem is you didn't clue Rizzo in early enough. Rizzo wasn't acting nervous. Oh, and they will be at this rate. Like,
I'm picturing Erica and Megan moonwalking right now, and it's just hilarious.
In order to sell the idea that you're going to nominate Rizzo should feel nervous about Christian as an HOH. Yet he never once said that to anybody. Not a single soul. He never felt nervous on any of his calls. No one was actually nervous. Like, the only reason people were nervous for Rizzo is because that's what Christian was saying. Rizzo was not giving off nervous vibes. So when and if Liv wins the veto and has San Marino and ends up being Caro, they're going to see through this, that this was just a ruse and that you and Rizzo are actually very close. And Megs knows it. Megs is like, they're close. Why would... Megs is going to see straight through this crap. She's going to see straight through it, and Megs is going to tell people. Very happy Megs got to sit back and do nothing because she was on for Preston.
Because these people have been throwing Megs under the bus left and right for literally everything.
Nothing. She literally breathes, and they're like, interesting.
She should be entitled to financial compensation at this point because, like, babes, is your back okay?
Yeah, truly. So that's where we're at. We got Louise and Liv as noms. We'll have veto results tonight around 7:30. If Liv comes off, it's definitely going to be Caro. We know that for a fact. If Louise comes off, so we have supposedly a 3 in 6 chance, or a 50% chance Louise is coming off, either by Louise, Preston, or Nikki. Possibly even bigger, because Erica is in an alliance with Liv, but also Preston's in that alliance being like, hey, we have more power by saving Louise and putting up someone next to Liv so we can give her the golden key. But if you pitch that, you can't pitch Jabbar as the renom. So I think Erica will still use it. It's just a question of on who. So like, it could even go up to 4 in 6 chance that it gets used on Louise. I don't know who the renom is there. I really don't know, because right now they're saying it's Jabbar. Lamont wants to volunteer to go up if there's a renom because he feels confident he has the votes. It should be Rizzo or Nikki. I don't know where the renom goes against Louise, but right now, based on how people are talking, I think it is almost a must win for Liv today. You're like, if the renom is Jabbar or Lamont, it's an absolute fucking must win for Liv today. If the renom is Rizzo or Nikki, I think she has a chance. It's close, but she has a chance. Especially with the tiebreaker being in her favor. If it was to be used on Louise, that would indicate usually someone that won it wants Liv to stay. So there's a chance that Liv is fine even if she doesn't win. But it comes down to, is Preston going to use his brain today for a renom, basically? Like, is he going to think, oh, yeah, Liv's my number one. That means I want her to stay. Like, if he puts that logical connection together, then there's a chance for her. But if he doesn't realize that number one means you should want them to stay in the game, then she's gone. So we'll see.
Can I say something controversial? I think Carl.
Yes.
I feel like Michael comes out on top after this round.
Really?
People-
I don't know.
I do think that Michael gets some points with this.
Christian and Preston have caused such a stir. Michael is safe. He's blending in the background. Like the next round, and if people are pissed at Christian, I don't think people are pegging Christian and Michael as a duo because Christian did not know about the power. Christian wasn't trying to save Michael or help Michael, and so I don't think Michael is even nominated next to Christian. If people,
no, he'll be fine, but he's going to lose some allies real soon. Rizzo might go this round. Christian might be going next round after that. So I think Michael's going to be alone again real soon. So like. Yeah, he's not going to be nominated, but I just don't see longevity for him. He's about to lose every ally he has. Like he could even lose Louise, his number one this round. Like that could be a possibility. Like Michael, sure, saved himself with the key, but he's losing someone close to him. He's either losing Liv, Louise, Rizzo, Christian's soon to be next. Like Michael is losing allies left and right. So again, he'll be back to square one soon enough, and see if someone will pick him up. But I just, what the fuck today? What the fuck, people? Like, this should not have been difficult. This should not have been difficult. This should have been easy. This should have been, hey, let's cut a deal. Oh, great. Okay, so you'll put up Caro. I'll put up Jabbar. We have no relationship. Cool, great, awesome. Hands in. 1, 2, 3. Good job, team. And we move on. And sure, the house is shooketh when they get Jabbar and Caro noms. Absolutely, they're shooketh. But Preston and Christian can know that they did great nominations for their own game. And that they saw eye to eye, and they can start building that relationship that Christian so feels that Preston has burned when Christian has done more to burn that bridge than anyone. So, but stick with us. We're not showing the veto live because the veto has information in it that is important to the results. So if one person was to go early, that could hinder people that go later, or that it could benefit people who go after that. So we are keeping it close to the chest. We'll show the last one that goes just so you know kind of like what happened. And then we'll have results likely around 7:30.
This veto is my favorite comp that BBH does, period.
I mean, we've only done it one other time. So this is our second time. Yeah, the first time we did it was your season.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is my favorite competition.
The first time we did it the first time we did it was your season, and we never did it again because we wanted to change it and never figured out how we wanted to change it, and then we changed it. So, so we'll do the last veto, which will be Erica around 6:45 Eastern is when she's going, give or take. So she'll be the last one to go. We'll do that one live with y'all, and then we'll do results 7:30, and then all that shit will happen between like 10 and 11, sometime in that range. So stick with us. Eviction on Friday, and then we have a much needed off day on Saturday. So stick with us.
One of the funniest calls last night was Liv telling Caro about the power, and this made me understand Caro so much. She's like laying in bed, and Liv's like,
"Please don't tell me
Michael has this power. Please don't tell anyone." Caro's like, I can't contain myself. I need to tell someone right now."
Psycho.
A descendant of Kelly. Another descendant of Kelly. Love it.
Another, not that. Well, we're gonna peace on out. I hope today is slightly calmer than yesterday. I beg. I need just a day to recuperate from day 11. So we will be back tomorrow to kind of recap what happened on day 12. But stick with us. I imagine more content will come. There's still plenty of aftermath for this house to kind of to sift through, because most people went to bed after the Liv nomination came out, and a lot of people were like, that's not what I was told, so what's going on? So a lot of people trying to connect the dots, but there's no dots to connect because that would involve there being a plan, and there definitely wasn't one. Not a well thought out one. Not a well thought out one. So no dots to connect, just questions, no answers. But we're gonna peace out. So for Josh, who's gone because he abandoned us and hates us, for Tay and for Kadri, clip it. We're gonna peace on out. Oh wait, I can't. Fucking Preston goes. Damn it. All right, I have to go host something in 40 minutes.
I'll go help you.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, stars.